the time has come. Finally, I'm going to be talking to my main guest for today. And you know, right now in Ghana, just by the way, I think we have about, 257 radio stations nationwide or something? In Accra alone, there are about 60 radio stations. Well, a little bit of history. Do you know how it all started? One man chose to start a private radio station called Radio I. He was broadcasting somewhere and people were like, hey, Radio Definifa. At that time, they said it was a pirate radio station. He was taken to court and all. Who started this? That's the man I'm going to be talking to, among many other things. Folks, when I say he needs no introduction, I mean it. He doesn't need any introduction. Anybody who doesn't know this name, I don't know, has not been born. Put your hands together. Show some love for my good friend, Dr. Charles Raku Brabe. Yay! It's good to see you here, man.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
A long time, you know. I always wanted to get you here, you know, but you're a busy man.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I spend most of my time on my terrace.
You know, yeah?
Yes.
Well, okay, but this is the right time to get you, man. You're hot, too.
Very hot. Very hot. Almost as hot as the tornadoes of America.
So, Tarzan, I want to talk to you about your family. Where did the name Tarzan come from?
Oh, Tarzan came from Radio I. I mean, Totobi went to Parliament on the only Saturday Parliament has ever sat, and he said that I was behaving like a modern-day Tarzan of the airways. And we said, that's a fantastic name. So we, the media, and everybody else said, oh, fine. So they started calling me Tarzan. And
so Totobi gave you the name Tarzan?
Yes, and about 5 years ago, I met Totobi, and if I asked him to chair a book launch that I was doing, and he said I should be paying him royalties for making me so popular with Tarzan.
Show some love, man. Somebody was talking about you. I overheard him.
Yeah.
Man, he thrives on chaos. Is that a good description of you? They say you thrive on chaos.
Yeah, so sometimes it could be chaos. You know, a society that likes too much order, a little push, it's called chaos. So I think a good description.
So it's not like it's really chaotic, but it's just the society is not used to.
Oh, the society in Chua, they don't like any friction. They love to talk about freedom. But anytime you say, oh, why don't we do something? Hey, me paucho, Sibiwahaya, you know, and people, and of course, you know, they come around the corner and say, blah, I dio, you're boabasso. You know, so this.
On the quiet.
On the quiet, you know, why are there? But, you know, but I think that my whole thing is that nothing happens unless you test it in reality. And you started talking about Radio I, for example. That's how you introduced us. From 1977, it had been legally possible to have a radio station, private radio station. But people had been plenty seminars. You know how we love seminars?
Yeah.
Seminar here, seminar there, blah, blah. So sometime in, I think September, October, I went to a seminar in Lagos, and they were talking about the need for pluralism, freedom. So when they said I should contribute, I said, Masa, listen, 1 week from today, at 9 o'clock, put your radio station on 96.2. Yeah, the Yempekasa, we shall be acting. So that was the beginning of Radio I.
So who assigned the frequency?
Oh, we see, this was the whole point. According to the Constitution, you don't need a frequency. You don't need anybody to register. You don't need anybody to control. 1623 says there shall be no need for a license. So, but being a lawful person, I wrote to the frequency board and said, Master, I'm starting a radio station. I have found this frequency. So put it in your books for me. So nobody else goes to steal that, you know.
Oh, so you informed them?
Oh, I wrote to them. Oh, Master, you have to write to them. So at 9 o'clock on the Saturday morning, we lifted up our frequency. The radio station was in my bedroom. Lifted up the frequency, and then we started to test. Hey, that thing wasn't working. Radio station, so then we tweaked a little with the antenna, did some directional signs. Oh, before you knew, Dan Suman was hearing, ain't no stopping us now. That was the beginning. And then, after about, I think, 19 days on the air, the military cracked down. And they came and said, oh, we hear you're operating an illegal radio station. 27 vehicles came to a little place that we were at.
A bedroom?
No, at that time we had moved to a place near Burma Camp. But They busted my brother, who had nothing to do with this. He simply lived in the block of flats. And then, so I said, well, we brought 27 bags. They say it's like GBC. They say, hey, the place is like GBC. So they collected all the equipment and left the transmitter. And then we called Nanado, he came. And as soon as Nanado came, they called their bosses. They said, hey, that man is here. So they said, our instructions are to make sure they have found 2 prison there. So that was that.
So generally, you consider yourself a law-abiding person?
Oh, absolutely. I'd never do anything outside of the law. There is, of course, you see, the law is subject to interpretation. And when there is a dispute as to which interpretation, and then we go to Atuguba, who, is holding the law in his bosom. I've just designed some T-shirts, which I want some young ladies to wear, you see, with the wheels of justice up there and a couple of boobs on it, and the inscription, the law lies in our bosom. Aka. Lord, nice. You have a sense of humor. That's what we say.
It's fun. It's like
it's fun. I think listening to what is going on. I've admired the presiding judge. Atuguba. I mean, we had serious problems with him much earlier when Kwame Pianim was stopped from becoming president. I used to call him Billy the Kid. But he's been excellent in this, bringing humor to the proceedings.
He does.
And trying to lighten what is clearly a very boring thing. So...
Are you following it? Are you watching it every day?
I start work at 1 o'clock. I close work at 10 in the morning. The rest is my rest time. So I'm glued. So on the face of the pink sheet, I think I'm doing well, watching well. it's very good.
Well, you look like you're very when I've seen you have conversations, very light-hearted. What's this image of you two as like an irritant?
Well, I think like most people who succeed, they said it's 10% inspiration, 90% perspiration. I take my work very seriously, and my work mode and my work persona is one of absolutely doing things by If I told you that when I first came here, they put me in charge of a public sector institution, the Ghana Energy Board. And I said to the people, you know something? Every week you write a report on what you have done. And you bring me that report, and I'll mark it like a headmaster. And those people now, they included Joe Otienje, the head of the Energy Commission now. These people have risen. So my work ethic is completely different from my social ethic. And I don't ever want to lose that edge about work. And most people... I'm afraid when you are working with them, they're trying to soften you up because they don't want to work. And I don't like that. And those who really know me will tell you, oh, yeah. He's almost like a clown. But a clown who takes his work seriously.
Not to cut you, but somebody at VRA remarked, he said, well, he says you work like a bull. That's what he described. He says he's never seen anybody who gets into work and works like a bull. But he said, but you just don't know how to deal with people. You're not a people person. But
well, it depends on what you call a people person.
Yeah.
Somebody will come and sit in front of you and say, you are a father. You say, when you need to how can I be your father? Which means that he's trying to get you to do something out of the... I instituted programs and managerial systems in VRA that have remained to this day. The driver that I engaged to drive me as chief executive is still driving the current chief executive. I instituted systems where each month people would come to my office if they had problems, and we'd discuss the problems one-on-one. We used to call it Tarzan one-on-one. But I would not let people get away. For example, I'll tell the bus drivers, if I see a bus revved up at 4:45 waiting to take people home, no, we finish work at 5. So that's what I mean about, what is it? When I went to VRA, the lift was reserved for the chief executive. So Tarzan will go, they'll take you up there and park it there. The man will go to sleep. We're ready, and then come in. And meanwhile, everybody else was having to use the other lift.
Wow. So they had one lift for the chief executive?
Oh, yes, we are a big man. I had people wearing gloves and white hats, bushman from Aguna Kwabri. They come there with their things. They make the table for you. That one I had led because I managed to get to Achibota. They didn't fuck look at that. But the idea that you are being given all this, and I said, look, this is not what I'm used to. I've come from a system where they pay you a decent wage. They don't care where you live, but they care that if you come to work late, you are in trouble. So these are the things that have driven, I instituted scholarships for them to pay their children school fees. I mean, it's all there. So, but I simply wouldn't accept, one, malfeasance, two, laziness. That's it. But I will tell you that the systems that I left there,
are still in place.
And when I went for the 60th anniversary or 50th anniversary, and I got a standing ovation, and at that time, Vice President Mahama was there, he was shocked. I said, well, you don't know. It's when you have gone that they remember the good deeds. Maybe I would say, judge me by my record. Go car, they will make so much noise. Ghana 50, hey, Koko, this kid. When I went into Ghana 50, because of my VRA experience, I said to them, hey, Master, you're touching on courage receipt. You know Chingon?
Pick it.
We are afraid of Chingon. Pick it. So I said, Master, someday, Asambeba.
And when you hear stuff about you, and there's a lot of bashing recently, how do you handle it? You just, it rolls off your back, or?
You see, I first of all look for the source. You see, if it's KSM, I say, hey, but unfortunately for every KSM, there's 999,000 people who cannot tell the top entry from the rear entry. So you look at it and say, you dismiss those people. A couple of days ago, somebody said, oh, somebody said this about you. Oh, I said, but that man, he goes on radio to actually talk disgracefully about his spouse, so we should dismiss him. Some other guy wrote some nonsense about me, and they say, oh, what should I do at university? I said, so what? When another spokesman, I'm the spokesman is a ventriloquist. Maybe Biara. So I can dismiss most of it because they are coming from people with absolutely no substance and no achievement, and not even to the party that they claim they want to die for. You ask them, what have you done for the party, apart from shouting from the rafters? So with that, you can dismiss a lot of it. Now, the only time you can take anything seriously, if there's a modicum of truth in it. So they say you've chopped money, and there's a modicum of truth, you start to worry. If they say you are chopping yas, you don't worry about that. You see, because you're not chopping yas. But it gives you alibi. You discern the wheat from the chaff. That's how you deal with these things. Because all kinds of cranks, singing for their supper. And a lot of this they put them up to it. They go to the MPP headquarters, and this is the line they say you should toe. We are lofty gentlemen and ladies. So when we go, we say that, oh, he's entitled to his opinion, and this, and that, and that, and that. Then they call the serial callers, give them tokens for, what do you call it, credit. Hey, mundinatem pa, mundinatem, munfreda mundinatem, na munchose, na munyese. It is irrelevant. I stay above the fray. I put cogent views. I'm not saying I'm right. I said these are my perspectives. You are free, as I expect, if you disagree, to offer the alternative perspective. You'll be amazed about the number of times I change my mind because somebody's come up with a better perspective. But the important thing is to keep the debate above, so that the idea is that we should inform. Democracy is the only true equalizer in the world, The people, the man who met me at the gate, the one who drives you, the one who sweeps your house, when it comes to deciding, they don't say, oh, KSM Show, so we give him 10 votes. They get one, you get one. Everyone gets one. The true sense of universal suffrage democracy. So it is incumbent that if we want people to vote wisely and rationally, that they are informed and they understand the issues. That was the object by which we created Radio I, so that there will be diversity, pluralism, and the people will be informed when they make choices.
Are you frustrated? Because you talk about a string of things that on the record you know that came from you, or at least helped to bring out, and do you think you have been, how do I put it?
Amply recognized?
Yes, you're not being recognized?
No, it doesn't really matter. I think that it is part of the shame of the society. You see, the master, me and Metihe, first Africa when you have PhD in solar energy, enemy.
First African?
The first African.
To have a degree in solar energy?
To have a degree in solar engineering.
So, okay. Yeah.
Not economics, engineering. Economics also on the one hand, and then on the other hand, So generally 100 people don't become economists because they cannot see on the one hand and the other hand. So, and then this LPG problem. When I came to a flaring gas at Tema, he said, no, we can cook with it. Let's change it. You know the little gas stoves. I introduced them here. I went to the Danes and they went to their a place called Cylindric, and they manufactured those things because we wanted to replace them with cookers. What do you call it? Bochia, or those things. We changed the kitchens of 5,500 institutions in this country from cooking with firewood to cooking with gas. And then somebody had a bright idea. Oh, you have a good taxi. The rest is history.
So Tarzan, let's get a bit into your private life. What do you do for fun? What are your hobbies? How do you relax?
Oh, years ago I used to have a lot of fun, but now, age 60 and over, I enjoy writing, so I write profusely.
Oh, you write?
Oh, profusely.
But before 60, what were you doing for fun?
Reading has been good. I've done the nightclub circuits. I've done the multiple circuits, if you see what I mean. I have had lots of wives. I've done a lot of theater. I've traveled probably to about 80 or 90 countries.
You've done theater?
Did
you say theater?
Yeah, I've done theater.
Really?
And so I have had a very fulsome life.
Wow.
Fulsome.
Wow.
In all its aspects. So really, right now, I don't sort of crave for nightlife.
You've had it all. Been there, done that.
I have done what I think to the limits of my capability and abilities. It's reasonable. I do other things now which I quite enjoy.
Marriage?
Plenty. I've been married 3.5 times.
3.5 times?
3.5 times.
What
yes.
was the half?
The half was a tragic to the lady who was carrying my baby, and she died. So that's the half. I recognize her.
Okay.
You know,
but it wasn't.
But you know, she didn't fulfill the full works. You know,
But 3 marriages?
Yes, three.
Really? And all didn't sort of work out?
I'm not sure I'm ready to die, and I wasn't sure that till death do us part was part of the equation. I think that it's a companionship that you set out to do the best of. My views on a lot of these things have changed. I do not believe. I don't have that. Hey, this way you use the word classic. You have to be careful. I don't have the classic Christian view of marriage, which is that of to procreate and look after your children and go off and die. First of all, I think procreation for fun has long taken over procreation for procreation's sake. And, you know, in a modern world where fast-changing views of life, people, I guess, decide that, well, the relationship is not quite what it should be. But they are not afraid, you know, they're not the old-fashioned, ultimate jai warrior, you can't do this and all of that.
You don't believe in that?
No, people have become more liberated, and they decide that at the center of all these things is a one-on-one relationship. And if it's not at a particular point working too well, you know. But you see, my first wife, who is the mother of my children, you know, I mean, there was a little misunderstanding, went through a divorce, and on the last day that we're signing the absolute, she said, oh, I've changed my mind, you see. And I said, Uni. I didn't even finish the sentence. But anyway, so, you see, so, and then I married my school prefect, Joyce. Madam Joyce. You know, you see me, I'm daring. When I was in Form 1, she was in Upper 6, girl senior prefect. Can you imagine that? So people used to come and say, hey, Charlie Bros, they say you are dating Auntie Joyce. I said, oh, yeah. Hey, so how did you do it? You either slap you or say, when you saw there, or say, I saw you're a naughty boy. Then you know that there's a chance. So each one seems to run in 10-year cycles.
So you married for 10 years?
Just about.
Really? And the first one was about 10 years?
About that.
Really? And the third one?
The third one is on. We've just done 10.
We've done 10?
My idea.
But it's on, still on?
Still on.
Okay. And
still on.
How does it look?
The cost of remarriage is getting very expensive. You know, so it's fine. We have a lot of fun. I really think that we should, you know, it's fantastic when people stick together and they are married together, but at the heart of it has to be a friendship.
Tarzan.
Sichera.
And your children, how many?
I have 2 children, twin daughters.
Oh, and that's it?
Well, I told you that the lady carried my son. Can you imagine the calamity of the world? Reku Brobe's son. He would have been 30 years old this year. But, it is not a race to prove how many you can deliver. It is the quality that you can give them. So that, one of my proudest, anytime I sit here with pride, my daughter of 27 is in the British diplomatic service and is being posted to go and serve in Zimbabwe, as the number 3 person there. I'm immensely proud of her. My other daughter, I set up a social network trying to put posh English ladies to rich English boys. Called it the social concierge. You can go and have a look at it. But she works with a publisher. She got a first-class degree in English from Edinburgh. My other daughter went to Oxford. This is what everybody strives for. When you ask anybody what are they looking for in the world, that their children will get a good education, will be well-grounded, and then you say, that is what I look for. Ghana, the United States, India, the whole world. You say, so that is what everybody is looking for.
So they are all in the
Well, yeah, one is in London.
You're close? Close to them? You're close?
Oh, very close. Very, very close. I used to see them like every 3 months, now it's like every 6 months. They come over. But, they are adults. So we have an adult relationship. As and when they want to consult me about things to do with personal life, they do, and I offer my tuppence piece on my 3.5 marriages. So I say it's not perfect, but carry on.
Oh, Tarzan, it's been great having you, and thank you for honoring our invitation.
Well, thank you.
And your last words in like a minute to.
My last words. I think we should, as a society, not take things for granted, and also commit ourselves to the development of this country, but do so with a lot of humor, a lot of fun, a lot of love for each other, and be tolerant of each other. That's what I would say.
That's it.
That's it.
And that is Tarzan, man. Keyword, tolerance of each other. Tarzan.
Sichera.
Thank you very much.
I'm a slave.
Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.